Hello and welcome to the MAC weather page for this Monday, September 11th, and obviously the big story is Hurricane Irma, and for a couple of reasons, and this storm is still ongoing, causing a lot of hardship. Over 3.3 million people without power in Florida right now, or as of last night. We'll only see more people lose power here as the morning hours and the daytime hours go by today. You can see the track of the storm become tropical storm once we get up into portions of Georgia and Alabama. You can see cutting to the west, and we're going to get a little bit of moisture out of this system, especially across southern lower Michigan, perhaps in the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame as it reaches its most northern extent. You can see right now the central or the top maximum wind speeds are 75 miles per hour, and the minimum central pressure is 965 millibars, or 28.5 inches of mercury. Again, this is up quite a bit. Two reasons why we really this could have been so much worse than what it has been, if you can believe that. Early on, though, before it even hits the U.S., we expected that track to go right between Cuba and Florida. What happened is it actually went in just a little ways in Cuba, and that weakened it down to a low to a moderate Category 4 storm. Now, I said that later on that night, once it re-emerges, it could reach a Category 5, and it did, just minimally at 160 miles per hour. But again, once it got up to Florida, we expected it could either ride just offshore and or even out into the Gulf just a little bit and come up and move back inland someplace around the Tampa area, which would have been really a disastrous outcome for them. But what happened is instead it went inland very early and stayed near the shore, but quite a bit of the storm remained on land, and that has weakened it down now to just a minimal Category 1. Could actually become a tropical storm here even later on today before it gets into Georgia. So those two factors kept the storm from being even more powerful. So I think, as bad as it is, some people certainly it could have been a whole lot worse down there. And if we look at the next slide, hopefully we can get that to go, you can see the extended outlook for much of the Great Lakes in the middle portion of the country and now into the east, becoming increasingly warm. Looks like temperatures this week will be about 5 to 7 degrees above normal. So a very comfortable week, lots of sunshine. Again, from about Tuesday night to Wednesday night, we could see a few showers. And again, especially across the southern portions of the state as it looks now, would see the highest probability of some of those showers here. And if we look at conditions around the area here on this Monday morning, temperatures a little bit on the cool side, down into the mid 40s for the most part, some low 40s off into the western areas. And again, we'll see both our highs and our lows increase here over the next several days. Another chilly night in the 40s perhaps tonight, and then I think mainly in the 50s, and by the end of the week we may see low temperatures around 60 with highs around 80. So a very warm air mass for this time of year, certainly going to finally move into the area and replace some of that chill. You can see as far as the moisture throughout the growing season, September, very dry month, only 40%, so just a little, or 46%, a little bit less than half the normal rainfall through the first third of the month so far. And you can see for the overall growing season, that is just for May, June, July, August, and September, we're at 73% of norm. So overall, it's been pretty dry. And you can see, though, September is off to a pretty dry start. And with this week being mainly dry, it's going to continue to see those numbers go down. You can see from the drought index here from last week, issued or released on Thursday, much of south central of lower Michigan is abnormally dry. And again, we expect that to continue through the week. And you can see on the satellite view our hurricane, which is now quite diffused. You can see the eye, and it begins to kind of fall apart here as it moves up into the central portion of Florida and actually inland quite a bit. And you can see some of the worst weather actually over in that area on the eastern coast right now, where no doubt many more areas are seeing lots of power outages, and that's probably beginning to affect areas of Georgia as well, and eventually Alabama, as it does curl back to the northwest here over time. As far as the radar, you can clearly see where the circulation is, and again, the storm continues to move off to the north into the northwest, and eventually it'll spread this precipitation further back into the northwest. You can see for the Great Lakes, high and dry. On the forecast map this morning, high pressure off to our east. That's going to begin to give us a return flow, and we're going to see more in the way of 70s this week. In fact, looks like most of the week, right on through the end of the week, is going to be high temperatures in the mid 70s to possibly around or even in the low 80s, especially as we get towards the end of the week. You can see our hurricane now becomes a tropical storm once it gets into Alabama, and then it becomes just an extra tropical low into Tennessee here for the day on Wednesday. And again, that's when we could see just a little bit of influence from that with maybe a few showers. Again, we don't expect a whole lot across the area, but it's something you always have to keep an eye on. And so there could be the potential for more, but right now we just see mainly the heaviest precipitation being off to the south. And over the next 5 days or this work week, you can see maybe 1/4 of an inch across some areas around southern lower Michigan. Obviously, the heaviest rainfall is across Florida and Georgia, as it looks right now. As far as the forecast goes, you can see overall mainly lots of sunshine, warming temperatures well into the 70s. And as we get into Friday, up around 80 and probably in the 80s on Saturday, with lots of sunshine. Again, that chance of rain around midweek with the remnants of Irma. Thanks for stopping by and have yourself a great day, a great work week, and 73s to all.